Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Stuart. Before we get started, I'm going to ask everybody to make sure you watch the video to the end, click like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell notification so when you know when new videos go live. In this video, we're going to be talking about a coin called Aleph. It is a layer 1 privacy in mind Web3 blockchain that has been developed and was launched at the beginning of 2022. Now, like I said before, it was developed with privacy in mind, using parity, and also developed by the Polkadot community developers. Very interestingly, though, it doesn't make it dependent on Polkadot, as it's its own independent layer 1 technology. It makes use of what we call DAG, which is directed acyclic graph technology, instead of your traditional blockchain. With the DAG-based technology that the dev team are using, they are trying to tackle what we call the blockchain trilemma. For everybody out there who's not too sure what the blockchain trilemma is, I'm going to bring up this picture over here and we're going to discuss it a little bit. With the trilemma, we say that you can have the three main pillars of any blockchain technology, which is security, speed, and decentralization. The trilemma says that you can have two, but you sacrifice the third. So when you look over here, we have security, speed, decentralization. If you want a network that is secure and decentralized, you often would have to sacrifice on speed. If you want to, for example, focus on security and speed, you would then sacrifice on decentralization. So from that perspective, the developers believe that DAG is possibly the best solution to that, because you can have cheap and you can have fast and less congestion on any network. We're going to talk a little bit about DAG over here. I've brought this picture up and I'll just talk everybody through it so we can then all be on the same page when it comes to DAG technology before we discuss the coin anymore. I'm just going to switch to the screen over here. So we have each of these different nodes marked A, B, C, which will actually just our transactions. We also can see that everything is going in one direction, which is what we also want to see with this DAG system. The transactions flow one way and they cannot flow backwards. When you have a look at a DAG system, the main important bit is that each transaction has to reference previous transactions before getting accepted onto the network. It's not really different from how a blockchain would generally work, but the difference is that it can only be successfully confirmed when it is referenced by another transaction. New transactions are built on top of older ones on the DAG-based cryptocurrency. The main difference between this blockchain and a DAG blockchain is that multiple transactions can be referenced instead of just one at a time, which means that you don't have to wait for one transaction to finish before a new one can start, which is exactly what they're saying, where they're trying to ease congestion and speed up transactions. Because the designers and the creators of Aleph have designed this coin and this network with privacy in mind, they want to make sure that no data is actually exposed on their network. They do this through two methods. The first one is zero knowledge proof. Zero knowledge proof is basically proving a transaction to be true without revealing any data within that transaction set. The second technology that they make use of is secure multi-chain computation, which basically says that data that is sitting on the Aleph network can only be accessed if all validators give their consensus for that data to be revealed, which is very, very good. Now, also, you might be saying that this might be a bit slow because there are going to be a lot of validators. How they get around this and how they're actually going to improve security is by rotating validators every 15, 30 minutes, whatever the case is, to have a small set of validators who are going to be selected at random. So you're going to have a small set of validators selected and performing these computations to try and keep privacy and security at a high level. One disadvantage of any DAG-based system that I would like to quickly point out to everybody is that they do rely on a fairly high transaction rate to be successful. Because of the whole method of transactions relying on other transactions to be completely validated, a slow transaction rate for the network would obviously slow it down, and you would see the rates of something like a Bitcoin or even less if the transaction volume had to slow down significantly. So keep that in mind when you are researching a project like Aleph or anything else that is similar to Aleph, to make sure that you understand that this might happen at any point in time. If we have a look at this actual diagram here, we can see that they do have plans to have Polkadot, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and others plugging into this privacy layer and then creating their dApps on the layer 2 itself. So it's actually a very, very nifty system where you're still making sure privacy is ingrained into the network without actually slowing anything down. One thing that I also do like to do when I review any new project that I see that I'm potentially interested in is having a look at the dev team. It is important that you know who the development team are, that you can rely on them to handle your investment securely. Remember, you are investing your money and you want to make sure that you're going to see a return, and this isn't going to be some sort of scam, as we do see within the crypto world generally. So if we move on to the development team and the Aleph Zero team, there's about 30 people that are a growing team, but they're headed up by a guy called Matthew Nimberg. If we have a look at his profile here, we can see that he's a mathematical PhD. He also was a fellow at Simons Berkeley and also the IBM Center of Excellence. He's been involved in other cryptocurrency projects as well since 2014. You can see DLT, which is your traditional blockchain where it's essentially that blocks and a chain. So he's been involved in consensus models, cryptographic schemes, as well as applying sound business and technology models for projects in the DLT space. If we have a look here as well, we can also see that the development team, or actually the whole team as in general, they come from backgrounds of IDM, Stellar, CodeWise, ING Bank. We have Google, Uber, and Riverbed Technology. So some really well-known names out there, which does give you comfort that we know the team. If we click on anybody here, we can see their profile. You'll be able to go and look them up and have some sort of idea whether this is a project that you want to support based on the team. I have seen it before where there isn't a team given at all, where they don't really describe themselves, and that is a very big red flag. So this sort of thing here does give me comfort that possibly this coin has a very good future. Moving on to the actual roadmap of Aleph Zero itself, we can see that we've finished phase 1 and phase 2. We are currently in progress with phase 3, where they want to do native token transfers. They want to do Polkadot.js working with AO, Rust implementation, obviously one of the most common programming languages used at the moment. So you're going to make it a lot easier for developers to build their dApps on top of the Aleph Zero network. You've got validators rotating in, which we have spoken about, which is something that will give increased security. And also still rely on speed because you have validators that are a small group that can process these transactions quickly. In phase 4, you're going to have validator elections where Aleph Zero validators will be randomly reassigned for each session based on the sum of their own stake and funds staked on them by the community. Node update mechanisms, smart contract capabilities, benchmarks for Aleph Node and Aleph BFT. So they are working and they do have projects in the pipeline, and they are obviously working on continuously improving this. Phase 5, they're going to be building bridges to the Kusama network, which is obviously the Polkadot testnet, and Ethereum. So that's very good, moving themselves into the Polkadot space. In phase 6, you can see that they want to bridge into Polkadot, a very big ecosystem in Cosmos, and Binance Smart Chain, which means any dApps that are based on these networks will be able to bridge themselves into the Aleph Zero network. Now, at this point in time, you might be asking me, what is the actual use case for Aleph Zero? If we have a look here, we can see there's quite a few. So they're looking at automatic tax payments. They're going to be working on the Internet of Things. They are working on other projects such as notaries, smart contracts, supply chain management. So there's a large range of different use cases for this coin as well. Again, something that is very positive and what will give this value if the coin actually does sort of grow. Moving on to the tokenomics of the coin, currently sitting at about 94 cents, market cap of only $170 million. So it does have room to grow. A full supply of 308 million with a circulating supply of 180 million. These coins were released at the beginning of 2022 in January during the Genesis event through an exchange called MEXC. Moving on also to seeing what markets we can get this. Obviously, MEXC will be one of the big ones, but Gate.io, Huobi, Bitrue as well. Something that does sort of give confidence that they can be listed on well-known exchanges. does tell you that this project is something that the exchanges have researched and they are comfortable providing to their customers. Obviously, they don't want to have rug pulls on their exchange. It gives them a bad name. So when we do see listings like this, it will give comfort. Checking out the actual overall market for this coin, it did have a high of about $3.310. In April, we would have seen a pullback from new projects at this time because that's when the market had its downturn. It went down to as low as 59 cents way back in June. So we have seen a fairly good recovery of 59% since that time. So there are still people believing that this project does have some value, and I'm sure they're just waiting to see what it can go. Whether it can go to 5, 10x, I do think there is potential in this coin. I am going to be watching it. I probably won't be buying into it just yet. I want to see where they go and the next moves that they make. If we have a look at this market cap, a 10x from here will take it to $1 billion, which is still very, very low. If we have a look at the overall market itself, 1 billion, if we scroll down here, lower down on the listing, we'll see that 1 billion itself will probably only take it into the top, here we go, into the top 50 only, round about Axie Infinity. So, you know, it does have 10x potential, but whether that can happen, and it's not going to happen overnight. So please don't be getting into this thinking that within the next 6 months you're going to 10x your money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it has the potential to go there. One thing that we can also see with Azero is that it does have staking. They're currently offering an APY of 13%. They have close on 70% of the total circulating supply staked, which is pretty high and obviously does create that sort of shortage which will push the price up in the long run. So again, something to be wary of, to know that if you are holding this coin, it will increase in value as the staking ratio does increase as well. Last thing that I do also like to see with any project is how active they are and how many followers they have on their socials. So I've got Twitter here as an example, 108,000 followers. So they are having a big exposure and they do have a good community behind them. And they are pretty active. You can see the last time they posted was 2 days ago. And if we have a look, they are posting sort of multiple times a day. So they are active. For me, it wouldn't look like this is something that they're just trying to take everybody's money and rug pulling it. They've got a great team behind them. So I am pretty positive about this coin. Like I say, I'm possibly not going to be getting involved just yet, but it will be going on my watch list. Let me know what you think about this coin. Are you interested in it? What you think the possible price action for this coin could be in the long run? How far you think it can go? And also let me know if there are any other projects that you would like me to investigate on this channel. I'm happy to do so. So drop a comment, drop a like, hit the bell notification so you know when we go live. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.